Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is going to be my very first video and I'm really excited to start this to share with you my experience with all things film photography and photo printing. Today I'm going to share with you my end-to-end process for making color prints from film negatives using the RA4 process and using trays. I know this might come as a surprise. Before I started color printing, I did a lot of research into the various ways you could do it, and virtually all sources had the same verdict. Trays for RA4 is not a good idea. The main reason trays are widely considered bad for color printing is because tray processing requires a lot of manual handling that needs to be done in complete darkness. Things like loading the paper into a tray, manually rocking the tray for agitation, and moving the paper from one tray to another. For black and white printing, tray processing is usually not a problem because you're allowed some light if you have a safe light. But for color printing, you have to work in complete darkness until the paper is fully fixed. And when you are rocking around a tray full of chemicals in darkness, a lot of things can go wrong. If not trays, then what? DIY developers typically use this. This is called a developer drum. And what it is basically a cylinder that when fully assembled would be sealed on one end, and on the other end, it has a small opening where you can pour chemicals in and out. This drum should be light tight, though my specific example is not because it was missing a piece when I bought it. Here's how it works. You open the drum, load the paper in complete darkness, then seal it shut. Once it's closed, you can turn the lights back on and begin processing. You pour the chemical in, roll the drum around to ensure even contact with the print, then drain it out. You can then repeat the process with the next set of chemicals. Rolling can be done manually, by hand, on a flat surface, or automatically using a motorized drum processor. With drum processing, you're only in total darkness for a short time, just enough to expose the paper and load it into the drum. So why am I not using it? The main reason is efficiency. Since you're running multiple chemicals through the drum, it needs to be cleaned and dried thoroughly between prints to prevent contamination. That cleaning time adds up fast and it really slows down your workflow. And let's be honest, washing gear is probably the least enjoyable part of photo printing. So instead of using a drum, I focus on solving the key challenges of tray development. First, I built a light-tight enclosure that fully contains the tray, allowing me to safely turn on some lights while the print is processing. Second, I created an automated tray rocker that delivers consistent agitation, removing the need for manual rocking and improving consistency. So let me show you what I made. Here, you can see the enclosure with a tray inside, which actually holds the chemicals, and the lid for the enclosure. The enclosure sits on the automated tray rocker. So the automated tray rocker consists of two main surfaces. The top surface, where the enclosure sits on, moves freely up and down on a hinge. The bottom surface for the tray rocker includes a motor that drives a shaft, which drives this elliptical shape right here. So as this elliptical shape rotates, it will push the upper part of the platform up or down, thus providing the rocking. The motor is controlled by this controller, which provides a simple on and off function. So just to demonstrate how it works. Before we start the print, let me show you the rest of the darkroom setup. This is the water bath that I used to control the temperature of the chemicals. This is the color paper that we're going to use today. This is our color enlarger, our enlarging easel, and our grain focuser. This is the timer. It's actually a combination timer voltage regulator for the enlarger. Finally, after we're done with the print, we're gonna hang it up in one of these clips to dry. Alright, let's go ahead and make a print. So this is the film that we're going to print today. It's size 4x5. I've already printed this before, so I already know what settings to use. We don't have to do a trial and error on that one. And we're going to print it out on 8x10. So the first thing we've done is we've taken the film out of the sleeve and we're going to load it into the film carrier with the emulsion side down. So like this. Position it carefully. And then load it to the enlarger. I have 35 mm there that I just need to take out. And then I'll put this one in. So now that we have the negative in the enlarger, I went ahead and adjusted the borders for the enlarging easel to make sure it fits an 8x10 photo paper. I put in a blank piece of paper just to help us in focusing. So the next thing we need to do is to actually focus the enlarger. So let's turn it on. You can see the image is now projected onto the easel. So let's just make sure that it's in the right. Let's just make sure to fill the paper. It would be helpful if we did this in the dark, so let me just turn off the light. So the first thing I need to do, maybe it would be easier for you to see how it works. I'd have it close up. So the first thing we need to do is to raise the enlarger head to make sure that it fills the frame. And then adjust the focus roughly. So I think the borders look good. So let me just do some fine focusing adjustment using the grain focuser. Essentially what you're doing with this is that you're just looking at the image through a high magnification to do your fine focus. So you can actually see the grain. Just maximize the sharpness of the grain. I think that's good enough. So let's go ahead and do the actual print. So we're ready to expose the paper. The enlarger timer has been set to the correct time to expose. The aperture has also already been set to the right one, and our trays are now with chemicals. So what I'll do now, I'm gonna turn off the lights, we'll keep recording, and I'm gonna talk you through the steps that I take as we expose and develop this picture. Alright. So now I'm opening the box of paper. I'm getting a piece of 8 by 10 color paper. Closing up the box again after I put the paper just on top of the easel without positioning it yet. So now I'm positioning the paper on the easel. Okay, it's now positioned. Let me close it down. Now I will turn on the enlarger. And then do the exposure. Turn off the enlarger. Get the paper from the easel. I'm now holding the paper in my hand. Now I'm going to turn the rocker on for the developer. I'll put the paper on the tray. Close the enclosure, the light tight enclosure. And then start the timer for 2 minutes 25 seconds. While that's going on, I can turn on a dim light, this one, which is a 15-watt light. Normally, I would have a safe light filter on there, the same one that I use for black and white. But for today's purpose, I'm just leaving it uncovered for the purpose of this video. But normally, I would have that on, but with a safe light. So it would still be dark, but at least I would be able to see and walk around and do some other stuff. But normally, there's really nothing to do while you're waiting for the developer to do its thing, rather than wait. Let's just see. So by the way, I use an iPhone for timer. So the idea is, while I'm doing all the stuff that I need to do in total darkness, I leave it covered with something heavy so that light from the LED does not come out. So as soon as I close the lid on this on the enclosure, I go to the timer, turn on the timer for the set time, and then watch out for it. So around 15 to 20 seconds before the time is up, I cover the iPhone again, turn off the lights, and then start on opening up the enclosure, removing the print from the tray and moving it to the Blix. And then after I move it to the Blix, I close the Blix and then I go back to the... So we're 20 seconds out, so let me cover the iPhone, turn off the light. Open the enclosure. Get the print. I now have the print in the tub. I'm just gonna put it now in the tray with the mix. Close the big tray. Turn on the rocker for the Bix. Turn off the rocker for the developer. Then set 1 minute 30 seconds on the timer. And then turn the lights back on. So normally what I would do here is I would actually take the liquid from the developer liquid, put it back into the bottle, then put it back into the water bath. Let's do that. Oh, the thing is, I don't have the funnel prepared, so maybe let's skip it for now and just wait until the mix is done. Okay, I think it's safe to turn on the lights now. So let me stop the rocker, open the enclosure, and I'll show you the image. So this is what we printed. So let me just turn off the video for now and wash it in a separate room. So this is the photo that we printed today. I think it looks okay. Maybe we can reduce the warmth by just a little bit. Just to bring out a little, just to make the green a little bit more saturated. But otherwise, it looks great, right? There's no obvious defects, showing that our process actually was working quite nice. So there you have it. We were able to successfully print a color photo using RA4 on trays. We showed that with a little inventiveness, it doesn't have to be so difficult. Thank you for joining me today. If you haven't, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.